Hi VC, Dale Gatewell 33 here to do the next instalment episode in the Lost in the Collection series. I think I'm on 7, I can't quite remember. So what I've done for this is I've picked 5 different genres out of the sort of 600 records that are languishing, unplayed, unloved, in the collection, having not been listened to for around 5 years. I picked 5 different genres and picked one record from each genre, and given them a listen this week. So so which were they? So starting off with the jazz genre, or in my case I've got like jazz / world is what jazz qualified as, and this is Gilberto. This is an original UK mono that I was lucky enough to find at a car boot sale a few years ago, and the it's got a slight little corner crease there, but it's in really nice condition, and the vinyl is pristine. And this was beautiful. I played this one morning before work. This is just such a delicate, lovely jazz record. There's a couple of tracks that Astrid Gilberto sings on, obviously the most famous Girl from Ipanema, and then obviously you've got João Gilberto's vocals and playing from Stan Getz. So it was interesting. I read the cover notes on this, and it sounds like they had a wonderful time. Their wives talked to each other. It was all beautiful, and then I kind of read somewhere else that actually they kind of recorded this separately, and I know Stan Getz, I think, suffered from alcohol and substance abuse over the years. I don't know whether he was having a low point in that, but you read the cover notes and it sounds like it was all sweetness and light, and then read elsewhere that it was a little bit less coordinated than that. So, but the music, fantastic. Next up, soul, and perhaps a record in Aretha Franklin's discography that doesn't pop up that often, Soul 69. Things like Aretha Now and I Never Loved a Man and others crop up more frequently. But this is a good solid album. This is an original UK Ireland, the Plum and Orange Island label, and it's mostly covers, and some really good stuff on there. Bring It On Home to Me, Tracks of My Tears, Gentle on My Mind. However, it does. So Aretha's one of those artists. I've got a list of artists who could sing the phone book, and I'd enjoy it. But she does a cover of Bob Lynn's Elusive Butterfly, and it doesn't quite work for me. I mean, it's an okay cover, but I think the Bob Lynn version of Elusive Butterfly is so beautiful, and she does a soul version that it's a bog standard soul. So apologies, Aretha, you've let me down there. I thought you could sing anything and bring it to life, but perhaps not. Perhaps that was one song too far. Okay, classic rock. I showed this on the Richard McCook thread. I showed the 2 albums I have by heart in the show, 2 consecutive albums by 12 artists, I think it was, and that piqued my interest. I thought, I need to revisit that because I can't quite remember it. This is Dreamboat Annie, their debut from 1976, and it's more varied than I remembered. It's got perhaps a lot more going on. It's not just a straight classic rock. And my thoughts on it were 2 or 3 of the tracks have got synthesizer on it, and I don't know whether 1976 whether the keyboard player had I've got a new synthesizer and I'm going to use it, because the tracks that had it, they didn't really need it. Luckily, it wasn't it wasn't overplayed. It was quite subtle. So it didn't take away from the music, but I don't think it added to it either. Other than that, it's the kind of typical classic rock lineup, a mix of ballads and rockers, and I do like when Ann Wilson plays the flute. I'm a sucker for a bit of flute in rock, and also if I'm honest, so Ann Wilson, her voice, you know, she's got this beautiful, delicate voice when she's doing the ballads, and then this sort of, you know, screeching, rocking voice. I like both, but I do think when she does the more sort of stripped back, laid back ballad stuff, her voice is really nice, really beautiful. So I preferred that on this. And there was a track, oh, I can't remember what, it got a little bit Zeppish, Led Zeppish. I think it was Soul of the Sea. It's quite a long track, and her vocal started to get a little bit Robert Plantish in that as well. Yeah, it's really interesting. It's so much more varied than I remembered. Heart was one of those bands when I was younger, and so I started off Pink Floyd was my way into music, but I think I ended up with tapes from people. I ended up with I would listen to Pink Floyd, AC/DC, Leonard Skinner, and Heart was sort of like four of the artists, and Deep Purple, five of the artists that I seem to have lots of, that I used to listen to over and over again when you were a kid and you had very little music. Okay, change of direction now, folk, and perhaps American folk. So this is Karen Dalton, so Karen Dalton could be a bit Marmite, as we say in the UK, in terms of her voice. So she sings, she's a very, very distinctive voice, and I love it. I don't think my wife likes it. It is when I slip Karen Dalton into playlists in the car, and I know she does not quite appreciate that. She doesn't quite say skip, but I know she's not a fan. So it is. So she does sing like a little bit. I don't know, was it off key or whatever? And this is an album of a lot of covers. Something on Your Mind, When a Man Loves a Woman, How Sweet It Is, One Night of Love. So a lot of covers on there. But the reason I got into Karen Dalton, I think there was a Mojo magazine. I think it was a Mojo magazine compilation about 10, 12 years ago, which had I think it was a Nick Cave selections, and it had the track Katie Cruel on it, which is just beautiful. Katie Cruel is just so beautiful, particularly with the violin. It's very haunting, and that got me interested in Karen Dalton. I bought her all her material, two studio albums that she did, and a live album on CD. And then I saw this in a record shop. This is A Light in the Attic, and thought, I'll pick that up. And really enjoy this, but I can appreciate if people don't enjoy it. And then finally, from the sort of alternative indie, is this kind of jangle, shoegazy album from 1990, The Sundays, and Reading, Writing, Arithmetic. This was their debut album and their best album in my mind. And really enjoyed revisiting this. I have got it on CDs. I have listened to it on CD, sort of digitally, more in the last 5 years. But revisiting the record, I was just blown away again by Harriet Wheeler's voice. I'll stick my neck out and say, much prefer Harriet Wheeler's vocal to Liz Fraser and the Cocteau Twins. I think she starts at a slightly lower register, but she can then move around, and she just plays the vocal kind of gymnastics that go on in this. And there's some beautiful pop songs, probably most notably Here's Where the Story Ends, but there are some beautiful pop songs on here, but then they've got some quite biting lyrics. Typically I'm a sound person, not a lyrics person, but there are some few biting lines in some of the lyrics on this. So this was again a great album. So five really enjoyable revisits. As I said, Heart surprised me with its kind of more varied. This one was less successful, but still is any Aretha album is a great album. But probably this was the one that, although I know it, this was the one that I really enjoyed the other morning when I played it. So there's 5 more in the Lost in the Collection series. Cheers, VC, bye.